Saturday, July 28th, 2018, Maneko 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I'll be talking about how the sovereign made Britain great. It's what made the British Empire, really. You might have your opinions on the British Empire and its actions, but this coin is still trusted all around the world today, and I'll show you exactly why. It's still legal tender in the UK. It's been a pound since 1817, believe it or not. And as it's legal tender, it's exempt from capital gains tax. Sovereign is a gold coin of the United Kingdom with a nominal value of £1. Struck from 1817 until the present time, it was originally a circulating coin accepted in Britain and elsewhere in the world. And it says it is now a bullion coin. So what are the specifications in terms of gold? So it's the mass, or the weight, is 7.98805 grams. It's 22.05 millimeters in diameter. It's 1.52 millimeters thick, and it's been like that since 1817, right? The composition, it's 0.917 or 0.9166, which is 22 carat. It's got 0.083 of copper or other metals. And the gold content is 0.2354 of a troy ounce, right? And it's got various mint marks. It was minted all over the British Empire. It was minted in Australia, South Africa, and nowadays it's just minted in the UK. So I'd also like to recommend a book that I bought a few years ago from the coin dealer I used to, I still see him once in a while in Bromley, in Kent. I recommend him, Peter Morris, Bromley North Station, if you're in the UK. And yeah, this video is not just for the UK viewers, because the sovereign is very important, I think. It's part of the monetary history of the world. But I highly recommend this book, The Sovereign, and it's by Daniel Fearon, Fearon. I'll put a link below in the description to an Amazon link where you can get the book. So what does this book say? Well, let's have a look here at the inside jacket. A symbol of Britain, synonymous with wealth and reliability, the sovereign has played an important part in the nation's and the world's history. First minted under instructions from King Henry VII, the sovereign, worth 20 shillings or £1, was then the largest gold coin ever issued in England. The beautiful and intricately designed coin proclaimed the riches and splendor of the Tudor monarchs. With the end of the Tudor dynasty, the sovereign was eclipsed as the chief coin of the realm, only to be resurrected in 1817 as part of a major coinage reform. The sovereign flourished alongside Britain's growing empire to become a coin of international status in demanding countries independent of British rule. Until the First World War, when it was superseded by paper money. There you go, paper money. And you can see the decline of Britain started basically with the First World War, a useless, unnecessary war, in my opinion. The sovereign remained an everyday coin used for everyday commerce. The economic trauma of the 1930s appeared to sound the coin's final death knell, but persistent demand, chiefly international, persuaded the Royal Mint to resume regular production in 1957. Highly prized for its numismatic value, the sovereign is the favorite of coin collectors the world over. So yeah, it's also a coin collector's coin. Not all sovereigns have numismatic value, but some do. And this book actually goes into that. You can have a look at it. I personally am not a numismatist. Sometimes I do have a few collector's coin, but I'm more of a bullion investor. So The other before I get back to the book, I wanted to talk about how the gold sovereign is used the world over. And this is from Gentleman's Military Interest Club. So it says here, American military use of gold sovereigns. I read here, it says, British sovereigns also have a fascinating military history. For decades, they were recognized worldwide as emergency money. During World War II, Allied pilots carried British gold sovereigns in their survival kits. Desert Storm, American pilots carried them in case they were down in Iraq, right? Design of the St. George slaying the dragon, that was done in 1817 by an Italian artist called Benedetto Pistrucci. So yeah, so he worked for the Royal Mint. Few interesting things about the sovereign. First of all, I wanted to show you a sovereign case, like a little purse, and it's made of sterling silver. So you open it here and you put the coins in there, right? You take one of these and you put them in there, and then and a few more. You can put 4 or 5 or 6, and then you close it. And you used to have like a silver chain, I guess you put it in your pocket with the chain. That's how they used to carry the sovereigns around. And the other thing is this little thing here. It's a counterfeit detector used to see if the sovereign was, good or not fake or counterfeit. So back to the book, The Sovereign. I'll show you a few of the pages. It's very interesting. You see, it's very nicely illustrated. It's got a lot of pictures. The mint in the UK was at Tower Hill in London. I think now it's in Wales, of course. So we had in Australia, we had the Sydney Mint. In I think we had a Melbourne Mint as well. In Canada, we had a mint as well. Eventually, a branch mint was established in Ottawa on the 2nd of January, 1908. So where else? We had there's a mint in India, South Africa. Yeah, so it was minted all over the British Empire, and it was used all over the world. And the part that interested me is the role of the sovereign. In this part of the book here. When the sovereign was revived in 1817, it was intended primarily as a unit of currency. The world price of gold was sufficiently stable at the time for the British government to take the courageous step of introducing a coin whose intrinsic value was very close to its face value. Hitherto, silver had fulfilled this function, but as the value of the white metal had fluctuated, it often had disastrous consequences for the money in general circulation. The change in emphasis from silver to gold was signaled by Britain abandoning the principles of bimetallism, a currency based on 2 metals, gold and silver, in a fixed ratio to each other, and embracing instead the concept of monometallism, in which one metal, gold, was the currency absolute, and everything else, including silver, had merely token value. So am I espousing just monometallism? No, I'm just talking about the sovereign. And it goes on to talk about the gold standard. It says, the gold standard which Britain effectively adopted in 1816, but which was not formally recognized as such until 1821, may be defined as the monetary system in which the unit of currency is or is kept at the value of a fixed weight of gold. So technically, the pound is under a gold standard because the sovereign is still worth legally, nominally, a pound. I know you need more Bank of England notes now, over 200 to buy a sovereign, but legally it's still legal tender. It's not, you don't pay capital gains tax on it because it's legal tender, right? So technically we've been on this gold standard, like a parallel standard to the paper money standard, for 201 years, right? The system evolved quite simply after 1816 from the free circulation of coinage, the free melting and free movement of gold. Notice the word free, right? Under this system, anyone had the right to tender gold in unlimited quantities to the monetary authorities and receive in exchange an equal weight of gold in the coin of the realm. So yeah, the sovereign is still the coin of the realm. There was also the implicit freedom to melt down coins, of which the weight and fineness was specified and unchanging for their gold content. Gold coin and gold bullion could at that time be imported and exported without let or hindrance. So it was a free market, right? All these processes were carried on with little or no seigniorage or any other governmentally imposed charges. So it was a great system. It was like decentralized. Anyone could bring their gold. Anyone could melt the gold coins. I don't think you can melt them anymore, the sovereigns. You have to take them abroad to have it melted. You can't do it in the UK anymore. In my opinion, is what built the British Empire. You might have other arguments about, you know, the navy, force, but everyone trusted gold sovereigns everywhere in the world. It talks about how all the other countries eventually adopted the gold standard, like Britain. Britain was the first, and for many years the only country to adopt the gold standard. This is all the more surprising as Russia was the world's leading producer of gold in the mid-19th century, closely followed from 1849 onwards by the United States. To be sure, Britain profited largely from the spectacular discoveries of gold in Australia, 1851, South Africa, 1884, and the Yukon, 1896. But Britain's reliance on the yellow metal was demonstrated by the output of sovereigns, was largely dictated by the meteoric expansion of its international commerce. Portugal adopted the gold standard in 1854, followed by Switzerland in 1860, the German Empire 1872, the Scandinavian countries in Belgium and France 1873, Netherlands and Italy 1875, and the United States in 1900. So yeah, with World War I came the end of the gold standard. So there you have it. The sovereign. It's still very important coin, and not just for people in the UK or in Britain, but everywhere around the world. It's quite convenient. It's not. It's like a little less than 1/4 of an ounce, and it's very easy to carry. It's recognized the world over, and in my opinion, is what made the British Empire what it was. Not only in terms of power, but all the commerce, all the industrialization, all the trade. This is what people trusted, and that's why they did business with Britain and the United Kingdom. I wanted to say that I've opened a Monaco 64 store, and you can get a new range of Billy Silverbug products. So I'll put the link below in the description for that. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on STEEMIT, DTube, and on Twitter. And I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.